And you're live.
Aloha snack bar, everyone. It's the one, the only gorilla in the Econo Mist, the Senor Silverback, the economic grape ape, alongside with his sidekick and cohort, the one and only CJ, the uncanny one, the denizen of the airwaves, and we are back for another Mornings with V and CJ. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing excellent, V. How you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm sipping this delicious bulletproof coffee. Man, it's so good. That's what I'm
Excellent.
doing.
Excellent. You will explain to the listeners what bullet coffee is? Bulletproof
Yeah, man.
coffee?
Bulletproof coffee is basically coffee with grass-fed butter, and I use like some sort of an MCT oil, a medium chain triglyceride, like coconut oil, extra virgin coconut oil that's been cold pressed. And you just put it in a blender, you blend it up. It's better than any frappuccino, lappuccino, what cappuccino, rappuccino, crappuccino. And what this does, it actually gets the caffeine into the brain, keeps it there longer, so you're not crashing. You're energized throughout the entire day, man. It's friggin' awesome. I love it. It's creamy, it's delicious. And this morning I put a little bit of a chaga and lion's mane from a company called Sigma Formatic. It's a company that Tim Ferriss recommends. So I tried it out. It's a mushroom extract. It's called chaga, and that also helps with cognitive functioning. So I'm hoping to be on fire today. I mean, I got a busy work day ahead of me.
Absolutely.
I got
Absolutely.
hump day later on today with Bix, so that's going to be awesome. Bix got a lot of stuff to run through, so stay tuned for that at 1 p.m., guys. He emailed me yesterday. He's got some hot stuff. A lot of questions.
Awesome.
Answering a lot
Awesome.
of
Good
questions
stuff.
today. Absolutely, man. So let's get into it, brother. Let's.
Yeah, let's
What's
do
first
it.
on the
Let's do it.
radar?
Well, I hope that you're hotter than what the markets have been the last 36 days.
Yes, indeed, man. Like, what's going on with the S&P, bro?
Yeah, so this has been the longest period in numerous years that the S&P has gone 36 days without a 1% intertrade, day move. So, again, that's just, the longest streak in history, as a matter of fact, V. So that just shows you how stagnant and uncertain the markets are right now.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Is it Algo or is it Anomaly? That's just the way things are right now. It's absolutely crazy. One thing is for sure, man, is the cash machine that is the stock market will continue to go wild. It's going to continue to go wild until this thing goes parabolic. I'm sorry, not parabolic. I'm not going to use that word. It doesn't exist anymore. There's a lot of people that are talking about a parabolic pullback of the market. It's not going to happen. It's a hyperbolic monetary. Um, what's the word I'm using? Oh my God, hypoxia. That's the word. It's a monetary hypoxia that's going to occur. Something so damn unique, where you have, the market's on the rise, the gold is on the rise, crypto's on the rise, and possibly even the shattered bond market. But I'm not so sure about the bond market, But anyway, man, it's going to be pretty interesting, bro. Which brings us to CJ. Forget Snapchat, man. The world's biggest IPO is about to be offered.
Yeah, that's pretty darn exciting, right?
Dude, it's gonna be crazy. The Prince has been talking about this forever. I think he's gonna be writing some articles about it. And what might be the biggest victory in the brief history of it's basically what is it saying? It's saying that well, I think my computer just had an issue. See, could you pull that
No, no,
article
no.
up, man?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah, just in terms of the Saudi, what had privately been owned, the oil company Aramco had
Yeah.
always been. Now it's going public, and this is an IPO that they have been working through, and they're stating like an initial potential
2 trillion.
valuation of 2 trillion. Yeah, so huge,
Unbelievable.
dollars. So, and it makes sense. V. I think if you think of the Trump's administration pushed down on oil the last couple years to try to bankrupt Russia. Now the Saudis are at a point where they have to do something, right?
Right. Right. Exactly.
And so at the point, like when you go on to, this comes to us from Zero Hedge, when you go through and read through, what it talks about is the fact that they want to kind of diverse, use the funds that they're going to generate off this IPO to try to diversify their economy for employment, for all that, which is something that needs to be done. If you think of oil and you've talked about this numerous times that their wells are drying up and they need to look for some other alternatives to keep things going afloat in
Yeah.
the kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, they got six major wells. The biggest one is the Gawar well. They're pumping more water uh, as they're trying to hydrofrack the damn thing, trying to get it, whatever they can out of it. It's more water that's coming out than oil. So they have a huge problem, man. So that's one of the reasons why Saudi Arabia is in Yemen. Okay, they're trying to diversify the hell out of oil. They're trying to get into natural gas. They're trying to, they need Yemen for the deep water port. They need Yemen to recreate it with a puppet government in place as a new regime over there, to recreate it as a Dubai rival. It's just not going to work. This is the Saudi pipe dream, because if this Saudi pipe dream doesn't work, their pipelines are running out. So their time is running out, and the House of Saud is not too far away from going kaput.
Yeah, and you've been calling on that at least the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Which brings us to the net losses in the U.S., man. I mean, because we're so great at accounting in this country, bro. What happened over there?
Dear Lord, it's just amazing to think of that dollar amount. When you looked at 2015, the government came in at a negative $533 billion shortage, V.
Jeez.
And in 2016, that amount has doubled to $1 trillion in deficit. I mean, that's just a huge loss. Huge. I mean, how can you make up for that? We have record tax money coming in, which I don't agree with anyway. Mm-hmm. And this just shows you how big and bloated our federal government is. It's ridiculous.
Well, we had to pay for the Obama vacations. That's what added to it, bro. Yeah, he played 306 rounds of golf and multiple lavish vacations on the taxpayer dime. And the most useless lame duck president in U.S. history. If you like the guy, you're mentally damaged. There's something seriously wrong with you. And this guy's out there bragging about, we're gonna balance the budget. We're gonna make the balance the budget.
And what's funny is I always laugh when you run into someone, you explain to them that, hey, our debt, we're kind of in trouble and everything. And on the liberal side, they're like, well, it's okay. We can just print more money. We don't ever we won't run out of money. We'll just print it. It doesn't work that way, people.
Because what? These idiot libtards read Paul Krugman, the one who does acid tabs and sniffs cat urine all day. That's what he looks like. Krugman has this permanent I sniff cat piss look on his face, CJ. It's permanently, that's his resting face. His resting face looks like I sniff cat piss. That's what he looks like. And they read this idiot Krugman, who for some reason is a moron. As he's on the New York Times editorial list, Mr. Nobel Prize laureate in economics. And Krugman's like, yeah, you can print to oblivion. It's totally fine. We could just mint a $1 trillion coin and pay off our national debt. I mean, this is the kind of insanity Krugman talks about. Okay, absolutely ridiculous. And what's really killing the economy, CJ?
Well, I think by far, Obamacare really killed the economy the last several years in terms of, stagnant hiring, creating pretty much a part-time, economy, creating a lot of service sector jobs. And it's really hindered companies in that uncertainty that they deal with the regulations, Obamacare. Who would, if you were a business owner and you're sitting there with, 25, 30 employees and that 50 is the threshold, and you can't afford to, to pay benefits for that, what are you going to do? You can't even pay probably. And now with Obamacare, individual business owners, they can't even afford to go out and buy insurance for themselves because the prices the last several years have just went up double digits. And it was fun last night. It was fun last night to watch Sanders to get his ass wiped by Ted Cruz in that debate. I mean, you want to talk about
what was that debate about? Why were they debating? Like, I missed that whole entire thing.
Well, here's the thing: is that right now Obamacare is like the big elephant in the room. Is that the right saying? Is that how you say it?
Yes, that's right. This is exactly what Bernie Sanders has been saying for quite some time. The Obamacare was the only country in the world, CJ, that does not provide universal health care.
Well, and it's funny because that's exactly where he was going. Asking Ted Cruz, "Do you feel that health insurance is right?" And Cruz is like, "Well, let me go over the Bill of Rights for you in the Constitution. I believe that access to proper care should be a right." So again, getting back to in terms of the economy, if you think about it this way, okay, here we said that we have to get more people insured to pay into the system, because that's why insurance companies and hospitals were hurt so much, was the fact that there was a lot of uninsured people. And then you put a mandate. Now you put a tax mandate, or a tax penalty. I'm sorry, a tax penalty that is $4,000 or $5,000 less than the cost of insurance. What are you going to do?
You pay the penalty.
You know, pay the penalty, right? Yeah. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. So this is very much, and there's so much different turmoil. There's so much rhetoric that's out there right now with Obamacare, and I completely get it. For people with, pre-existing conditions, there are certain things that Obamacare did do, but in terms of tort reform and these frivolous lawsuits, in terms of deregulating the insurance industry, all Obamacare did was raise prices significantly. It really reduced care, the care quality in the hospitals. They gave them so much paperwork. And in terms of the hiring, companies aren't hiring full-time employees anymore. They're hiring, and that's why the unemployment rate that they quote is based upon if you have one part-time job, that's considered two jobs.
Right. Exactly. That's how they fudge the numbers. Did Sanders give out his usual percentage stuff? Because Sanders always out there talking percentages.
The top 1% takes away from the 99%, and the 59% is divided by the 3%, and that's why you have 28% who are not insured and cannot afford their prescription drugs.
No, he went full socialist last night. He was full talking about a one-payer system, which is universal health care. And why in the world our government ran a $1 trillion deficit, and we're going to put them in charge of one of the largest industries? No, hell no.
These guys can't run a DMV, CJ. They can't run a DMV. They want to run healthcare. I mean, look, I talk to people on a daily and a weekly basis from the guys from myfreedomnow.us. The biggest problem people are facing right now is medical bills. It's like bankrupting them. So they're giving us a call. Hey, I have $50,000 in medical bills. Can you help my credit? Can you help us wipe it out? And we're like, yes, we can wipe it out. We'll take care of it for you. We'll set you straight. No worries. And we'll fix your credit. No issues. That's like the biggest thing that that we face in terms of people that are coming up to us, man. And people are like, yeah, I had to. The only way they were going to insure me is if I got hit by a truck. I'm like, yeah, a tractor trailer. You had to get hit by a tractor trailer in order for them to cover you. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. They got Bernie Sanders.
The top 1% is equal to 99%, divided by the 15% equals 1.0%, and that's why we are having universal health care.
That's pretty much exactly what he said last night, but it wasn't even a contest. I mean, it just completely
crazy Bernie, man. Crazy Bernie.
And Ted Cruz is no joke when it comes to debating and knowing his numbers, knowing his figures. Ted Cruz, I don't always agree with everything he says, but he is a very sharp individual.
I got to go back and see this. I totally missed this. I don't even know what the hell these two were debating for, but that was good. I'm glad that Cruz handed Sanders his ass on a silver plate.
No, I applaud CNN for doing it. I truly mean that, because just fact, like I said earlier, there's so much rhetoric out there that, oh, look, they're gonna get rid of Obamacare. We're all gonna lose our health care coverage tomorrow, and kids with disabilities are not gonna have any insurance, and all this. There's so much being hyped up about it, and so much false narratives. And Trump is being, again, he's a very thoughtful person, so he has specifically said numerous times that any legislation that comes in with repealing Obamacare has to be followed up with an immediate new plan that comes in, and it may take some time. I mean, it would be very reckless to come in right now and just pull the plug on Obamacare. As we know, it would create mass hysteria through the and troubles through the insurance. I mean, think about how much money companies spent getting Obamacare established, okay? And as broken as it is, it needs to be deconstructed or wiped out, but there has to be a better plan to come in right behind it.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so again, it makes perfect sense. So, but last night it was hilarious to watch, Cruz and Sanders up there, because it wasn't even a contest. It was just, I was almost embarrassed for Sanders at times.
Jeez Louise, man, I got to go back and see it, man, because people are like,
when you can't have people who can't afford to go to the doctor, or they can't afford to buy prescription drugs, 1 out of every 5 Americans can't afford prescription drugs that doctors prescribe. That's called rationing. Except there's no rule on that. There's no law on that. It's just that people don't have the money to buy what they need.
Good. Good. They can't get prescription drugs. That's what's keeping them alive. Maybe they should go on Google and find some alternatives on how to stay healthy. See, the answer here, folks, to this ridiculous healthcare system that we have here is not whether we're socialist medicine or free market medicine. We need to change how we approach medicine. We need to go with a preventative stance. We have to be alternative and preventative. That's the way I see it, CJ.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Which brings us to the future crop of America.
Boy, I tell you what, this is something that we've talked about as well for a long time in terms of, when people think of cannabis, they often forget, hemp, as a whole. And hemp has been around.
Tell the people the difference, CJ.
Yeah, so basically, cannabis or certain, portions of cannabis that it can be used, whether it's the THC or the CBD, that's extracted. Mm-hmm. But in part, hemp and the hemp fibers are utilized to make lots of different things. The early battleships that were built in the U.S., all the ropes on those battleships were built with hemp fibers.
Yep, they're strong as heck, boy.
Yeah, they're strong as heck. The military used them for clothing. Hemp was at one time required, that every farmer in America was required to grow hemp, because that's all that we used to pay for things at one time. And then what happened was, once the textile and the paper industry, came in and they started looking at wood, it just the entire hemp and cannabis just got a really bad name, and it really completely wiped out that industry. Well, now that it's starting to come back, what's happening in Kentucky right now is that the growing of hemp, when it first started out, it was roughly about 10,000 acres, and that has exceeded to more than 72,000, almost 73,000 acres right now in terms of hemp. And again, this is going to really change a lot in terms of manufacturing. It can provide a very viable alternative to, making everything from plastics to, to car parts, everything that can be configured, using hemp. There's just so many uses, clothing, paper, anything that's related to that. So this industry, in part, if you think about it, I think roughly there's 27 states that are legal medicinal, and maybe half of that for recreational. Yeah. But again, this future industry is just thriving. It's going to be huge, V.
It's the biggest, which is basically the fastest growing industry right now in the United States, CJ. I mean, 31% growth. I mean, it's projected to be, a $21 billion industry by 2020. That is huge, man.
It can really, redefine things, in terms of thinking about getting America going again. And this is, again, just, going back to the actual quality of healthcare also in our country, that if we can become more accepting of cannabis as a viable healthcare solution, versus the amount of prescription drugs that people are taking, V. So the industry in a whole, in terms of cannabis, kind of like the last interview that we had with Josh, right?
That was an awesome interview.
Yeah, we talked a lot about not just, people walking around and smoking and getting high and all that, but all the jobs that comes with it. Everything from banking to accounting to security. All those things, payroll services, all those things come with it. Right. So it's going to be a huge market, and this. The numbers are proving that, V, from the reporting that's coming out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's the thing, man. It's dude, isn't it funny? You look at Rogue Money. We're all about cryptocurrencies. We're about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, and cannabis, bro. You know what I'm saying? That it's there's the future right there. It's unreal, man. Unreal. Which that brings
believe it or not, I think there is actually a Canacoin out there right now that is specifically for cannabis purchasing. They call it Canacoin.
I was keeping that under wraps. I was hoping to find out and do a little study if there's any sort of cannabis-based cryptocurrency. But if there's a Canacoin out there, man, that's pretty awesome.
Maybe that it is.
Absolutely. With that being said, CJ, we're at the end of the broadcast. Give out your shout-outs, my man.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, stay tuned later on today. We got some great program coming up. It is Hump Day, so I'm excited to hear that broadcast. I apologize. Yesterday, someone brought it to my attention, but the live Facebook stream, I did not have my mic engaged for Facebook, so you could only hear V for like a portion of it. But it's fixed today. It's good. I deleted it right away and put up the recording to YouTube. But I apologize for that, and it won't happen again. But that's all I have to say, V.
Awesome. And guys, I am Senor Silverback, and we will be back here tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Check out the interview today with me and Biggs. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And also, guys, if you know somebody who's stressed out because of debt, they're worried because of debt, they can't go to sleep because the collections agencies are telling them that they're going to come through the window and steal their firstborn as well as their right kidney, then you need to get my boys over at myfreedomnow.us. Myfreedomnow.us. It is we basically what we do is we kick the bankers and the collections agencies in the nuts. We crack them in the jaw. We send them packing. Call those guys, get some relief, and they'll work with you to get you the credit score you deserve and clean up your credit file. With that being said, CJ, follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money, Facebook Rogue Money, and RogueMoney.net where there's hot new articles. With that, we're over and out. Take it away, CJ.